Child, come. Sit beside me for a moment, not as a doer, not as a fixer, not as someone who must hold everything together, but simply as a soul in need of rest. Just for today, let go of the performance. Let go of the pressure to finish strong. These last days of July, they are not about speed or strength, they are about stillness. They are a sacred hush, a divine pause, before the shift. Have you noticed it? That quiet tug in your spirit, that whisper in the middle of the noise. It's heaven, calling you out of motion and into presence. You've been running, haven't you? From task to task, from conversation to expectation. Your body may be tired, yes, but it's your soul that's truly weary, the kind of weary that sleep alone doesn't heal. It's the kind that only stillness touches. The kind only God can reach. But child, I wonder, do you know what happens when you finally stop? When you silence the swirl, when you let the world spin without you for a while, you start to hear again, not your own thoughts, not the world's demands, but the one who speaks in whispers, the one who's been waiting not just to guide you, but to sit with you, to fill you again, to remind you of who you are and whose you are. These last days of July are not just a countdown on a calendar. They are consecrated, chosen, appointed. What if these final hours are not about wrapping things up, but about opening your hands? What if what God wants to do doesn't need more effort but more space? What if your miracle has been waiting not for more movement, but for more surrender? Child, do not rush these moments. Let them stretch. Let them breathe. Let them feel strange and slow and sacred. Miracles don't always arrive with trumpet blasts. Sometimes, they show up like morning dew, quiet, glistening, unnoticed by the hurried but unmistakable to the still. So today, breathe deep, not just through your lungs, but through your spirit. Let the tension melt from your shoulders. Let the world be what it is, just for now. You are not responsible for fixing it all. Today, you are responsible for receiving, for opening, for listening. There's a reason the hush comes before the shift. Heaven is preparing something for you, something in you. But it won't be found in your striving. It will be found in your stillness. So sit, child. Light a candle, if you must. Journal if it helps. Or simply close your eyes and say, God, I'm here. Because He is. Right here. Closer than your next breath. And He's not just watching the end of your month. He's walking you into something entirely new. Let July close gently. Let your soul settle. You are on holy ground. There's a sound that moves heaven. It's not always loud. It's not found in thunder or shouts or grand gestures. It's quieter, holier, weightier. It's the sound of obedience. Child, you must know this. Heaven doesn't respond to volume. It responds to surrender. It doesn't move because of how loudly you cry, it moves because of how completely you trust. And trust, well, trust sounds like yes, Lord, even when the path isn't clear. It sounds like quiet feet moving forward before the map is given. It sounds like letting go of control when every part of you wants to cling tighter. Obedience is the language of the willing. And heaven hears it every time. These last days of July, this sacred hush before August, are not about pushing harder or finishing with a bang. They are about turning your ear toward the whisper. They are about leaning into that voice you've maybe been trying not to hear. Because obedience doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it comes as a nudge. Sometimes, it's an instruction you didn't ask for. A person you need to forgive. A place you need to leave. A seed you need to sow. A dream you need to lay down. Or resurrect. What has He whispered that you've pushed to the side? What did He ask that you buried beneath logic, fear, or busyness? It's so easy to get caught up in movement, doing more, trying harder, keeping up with others. But child, heaven isn't watching your hustle. It's listening for your yes. Not the kind that just comes from your lips, but the kind that moves your feet. The truth is, some of what you're waiting for is waiting on you. You call it delay, but God calls it unanswered instruction. That breakthrough. It may not be stuck in the heavens. It may be sitting behind the door of a step you've been afraid to take. That provision. It may be waiting for you on the other side of an act of generosity. That healing, that clarity, that peace. They might not be far off at all. But obedience is the bridge. And without it, you just keep circling wilderness ground that was never meant to be your home. Can I ask you gently? When was the last time you obeyed without needing all the details? When was the last time you didn't demand confirmation, clarity, or comfort but just moved because He said so? Because that kind of obedience, it's rare, and powerful, and holy. Abraham had it. When God told him, "Leave your country. Go to the land I will show you," there was no map, no timeline. Just a voice. And still Abraham moved. That movement opened up a covenant that changed history. Child, what history is waiting to change because of your yes? This moment, this holy pause at the edge of a new month is not just about reflection. It's about response. Don't just listen, respond. Don't just pray, obey. Don't just wait for signs. Trust the whisper, because something happens when heaven hears yes. Winds shift, angels move, doors swing open. Not because you worked harder, but because you aligned yourself with the divine. Because your yes echoed the yes of Jesus, who said, "Not my will, but yours be done." And in that surrender, the greatest miracle the world has ever known was born. So here's your holy question. What is God asking you to do that you've been postponing? And don't look for the dramatic. Sometimes obedience is small. It's deleting the number you were supposed to let go of. It's apologizing first. It's fasting when no one else is. It's praying for someone who wounded you. It's stepping out when your knees are trembling. And sometimes obedience is simply waiting, well, not rushing the process. Not kicking the door open, but standing still with hands open, saying, "Even now, I trust you." You don't need more signs. You don't need more time. You need to move. With faith. With trembling. With heaven as your witness. Because when you obey, even while it costs you comfort or certainty, you are never walking alone. The moment your heart bends in surrender, heaven bends toward you. So pause. Listen again. Ask Lord, what unfinished instruction still waits on my yes? And then just obey. No need to understand it all. No need to explain it to others. Because obedience doesn't require the approval of man. It just needs the fear of God. The reverence that says, "Your ways are higher. I'll follow, even if I don't see the full road." Child, you are not too late. You are right on time, but the time to obey is now. These final days of July may feel strangely quiet. Not just externally but internally. You look around and see fewer hands, fewer texts, fewer open doors. The crowd has thinned. The applause has faded. The noise has dimmed. And you're left, wondering, did I miss it? Did I do something wrong? Why does this part of the journey feel so empty? But child, lean in. Let me tell you something sacred. The road that feels empty is often the holiest one of all. You see, silence is not always a punishment. Sometimes, it's an invitation. Sometimes, it's the wrapping around something sacred God is doing that your eyes can't see yet. We've been trained to equate presence with noise. We measure progress by visible milestones. But in the kingdom of heaven, stillness often signals glory approaching. That's why this moment matters. You may be walking a path that feels overlooked, uncelebrated, and painfully quiet. But if God is on the road with you, then you are exactly where you're meant to be. Don't mistake isolation for abandonment. Even Jesus walked alone. In the wilderness, in Gethsemane, on the road to Calvary. Each time, silence surrounded him, but the Father was never absent. He was closest in those moments, preparing something eternal. And so it is with you. This road may not be filled with affirmation, but it is filled with oil. It may not offer comfort, but it offers fire. It may not look like favor, but it is the soil of deep anointing. You may not be clapped for. No spotlight, no stage, no applause. You may not be seen or understood. You may feel like you're walking through fog, unseen by others, unheard in the noise of the world. But God sees you. And if God sees you, that is enough. That kind of vision is different. It's not superficial. It doesn't require performance or perfection. It sees your posture, your heart, your quiet yes. So let July strip you down, if it must. Let it remove what never belonged in your next chapter. Let it quiet the crowd around you, so you can finally hear what your spirit has been aching for. Because, child, there is glory in this silence. There is a deep, holy work happening beneath the surface. God does some of his loudest work in your quietest seasons. This path you're on, it's narrow for a reason. Not everyone can walk it. Not everyone is meant to understand it. And that's okay. Being set apart means being misunderstood. It means you won't always be invited. You won't always be seen. You won't always be included in the crowd's excitement. But let me ask you this, would you rather be known by the crowd or known by heaven? Would you rather be seen by many or carried by God? Because those who walk quietly with God are the ones he trusts with weight, with revelation, with legacy, and yes, with suffering. But it's the kind of suffering that births oil. An oil child is never wasted, so let July refine you. Let the last days feel quiet if they must. Let the unanswered prayers stay on the altar a little longer. Let the invitations not come. Let the door remain closed if it means God is closing it for your protection. You are not invisible. You are hidden, and there's a difference. Hidden is sacred. Hidden is protected. Hidden is where roots go deep before fruit is seen. Hidden is where mantles are prepared. Hidden is where character is shaped before platform is given, so if you feel alone, look again. Heaven is closer on this road than you know. You're not walking toward something holy, you're walking with someone holy, and holiness, true holiness, rarely announces itself with fireworks. It moves quietly, it whispers. It strengthens your spine in secret. It restores your soul, where no one can see. And then when it's time, it shouts in glory. But right now, your job isn't to force the shout. Your job is to walk the quiet road with your eyes fixed on the one who walks beside you. So take a deep breath. You are not off track, you are not too late. You are not forgotten, you are being carved, refined, readied. And when August comes, you won't just be stepping into a new month. You'll be stepping out of a sacred process. The kind only the empty road can teach. There's a weight to these final hours. Not heavy like burden, but sacred like soil. You may not realize it, child, but the ground you're standing on in these last days of July is soft with spiritual sensitivity. What you speak here doesn't vanish, it plants, it roots, it waits, it grows. Your words are seeds. And this moment, this quiet stretch between what has ended and what has not yet begun is your garden. What will you plant? Will you plant worry? Will you plant fear, frustration, or doubt? Will you speak drought into soil meant for harvest? Or will you do the harder, holier thing? Will you speak life, even while nothing looks alive yet? Will you speak what is written, even when it doesn't match what is felt? This is the mystery of the wait. It isn't empty. It's womb-like, sacred, hidden, full of unseen work. But your words shape what is forming. So speak with intention. Speak with faith. Speak as one who knows that every phrase carries weight. Because child heaven is listening. Not just to your prayers, but to your patterns. Not just to your declarations in the sanctuary, but your confessions in the hallway. Not just the things you say to God, but the things you say to yourself when no one's listening. And here's the truth. You don't have to feel full of faith to speak it. You don't have to see the miracle to declare it's coming. You don't have to wait until August 1st to prophesy peace, order, and abundance. You can do it now. In the quiet. In the in-between. In the tension of almost and not yet. The enemy loves to attack in these hours, not because you failed, but because he knows how powerful you are when you're still speaking life while you wait. So today, choose your language like you'd choose seeds for a garden that will feed your future. If you don't want to harvest it, don't plant it. Don't speak fear even if it trembles in your chest. Don't echo worry even if it circles in your mind. Don't give voice to every lie the enemy sends like arrows. Instead, say what God has already said. My steps are ordered of the Lord. I will see the goodness of God in the land of the living. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. He who began a good work in me will be faithful to complete it. I am the head and not the tail. Above only, never beneath. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Because what you speak shapes what you expect. And what you expect shapes what you perceive. And what you perceive becomes the lens through which you see every open door or closed window. Child, you are not powerless while you wait. You are a sewer. Every sentence you release is either a weed or a weapon. A curse or a covering. A delay or a declaration. This is your invitation. Speak on purpose. Speak like heaven is writing it down. Speak like angels are carrying it out. Speak like the ground beneath you is listening and preparing to bloom. Because it is. Let July end with praise on your lips, not panic. Let your declarations rise louder than your doubts. Even if your hands are empty, let your mouth be full of truth. Think of Ezekiel, standing in that valley of dry bones. God didn't say, wait until they move. He said, prophesy to them. Speak life. And Ezekiel did, and bone met bone. And breath entered lifeless forms. And what was dead stood again. That's the power of a voice aligned with heaven. So, speak, even if what you're looking at looks barren. Speak, even if nothing responds at first. Speak, even if it feels awkward or unfamiliar. Because when your words carry the echo of heaven's heart, they don't just fill the air, they shift the atmosphere. This is how you wait with power. This is how you plant for what's next. This is how you remind darkness that it has no vote in your future. Speak life, speak light, speak truth. Say it out loud, in your car. Whisper it before bed. Write it on sticky notes. Prophesy it in the mirror. Declare it over your family, your dreams, your health, your purpose. Let every hour remaining in July be seeded with words that call heaven down. Because the harvest doesn't come just because of time. It comes because of alignment, and you now have the power to align your life with the very breath of God. Not by striving, but by speaking. I know, child. This stillness feels long. The silence feels stretched thin. The prayers you whispered days ago, weeks ago, maybe even months ago still feel unanswered, and the quiet. It's deafening at times, isn't it? You keep checking for signs. Checking your spirit. Checking your circumstances. Checking your heart. But the door hasn't opened. The moment hasn't shifted. And part of you wonders, did I miss it? Did I do something wrong? Is God withholding something from me? But hear this, gently and clearly. Delay is not denial. Silence is not absence, and stillness is not punishment. Sometimes, the quiet is mercy. Sometimes, it's protection. Sometimes, it's preparation so deep, so holy, so hidden you wouldn't understand it even if he explained it now. You see, the world equates movement with progress. The faster it moves, the more important it must be. But the kingdom of God doesn't move on speed, it moves on truth. God doesn't rush just to meet your timeline. He moves to meet your transformation. And right now, in this sacred pause at the end of July, he's doing more behind the curtain than you could imagine. You may not feel him, but you are still being held. You may not see breakthrough, but something is still breaking through. This waiting room you're in, it's not a holding cell. It's a holy ground, a space where roots grow deep beneath the surface, where foundation is laid brick by brick in silence, where soul meets spirit in ways the noise never allowed. Think about it. Seeds don't sprout in sunlight alone. They germinate in darkness, deep in the soil, covered, concealed, forgotten by the world, but not by the sewer. So why do you feel forgotten when God draws the curtain of quiet? Child, the silence is not proof that he has left you. It is proof that he trusts you. He trusts you with this slow sacred thing. He trusts that you'll lean in, even when you can't see. He trusts that you'll stay, even when you don't hear. He trusts that your yes isn't just eternal. Stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is strategy. God is setting things in order, untangling time, preparing people, lining up provision, and shifting the very terrain of your tomorrow. What you see as delay he sees as design. So don't despise the pause. Don't curse the quiet. Don't grow bitter in the in-between, because the pause is doing something you can't yet see. It is clearing the clutter, sharpening your hearing, softening your grip, and training your heart to trust him, not just his outcomes. That's the deeper invitation here, to trust God, not just what you want from him. To trust his ways, not just his answers. To trust his presence, even when it's wrapped in mystery. And yes, it's okay to wrestle. It's okay to wonder why the wait feels long. Even Jesus, in the garden, wrestled with delay. Father, if it be your will, let this cup pass. Yet what did he follow it with? Nevertheless, not my will, but yours. That, child, is the trust that carries you into what comes next. So if all you can say today is one small whisper, make it this: God, I trust you. Say it through the silence. Say it through the slow. Say it even if your emotions don't agree. Say it until your spirit aligns. Say it as a seed. Say it as a sword. Because that one confession, that one holy sentence shakes hell and moves heaven. It tells the enemy he didn't win. It tells your soul that hope still breathes. It tells God that even in the silence, even in the not yet, you are still here, still leaning, still believing. And that is enough. So in these final hours of July, don't rush. Don't fill the stillness with noise just to feel like something's happening. Let the quiet form you, not frighten you. Let the stillness become your sanctuary. Because when August comes, and it will come, you won't just step into a new month. You'll step into it with the kind of strength that only stillness builds. The kind of peace that only delay can plant. The kind of wisdom that only trust produces. And when the doors open, you'll know it wasn't chance. It was timing. It wasn't delay. It was design. So breathe deep. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Here we are, child. The edge of a month. The final breath before the shift. the sacred space between what was and what will be. You may have thought July was winding down, quietly folding into its end. But heaven sees it differently. This is no ordinary day. Today is not just a day, it is a doorway, and every doorway asks for something. Before you step through, there's something heaven is gently placing in front of you. Not a demand, not a burden, not a test. Just a question. Will you say yes? Not a loud, public, dramatic yes. Not a yes that proves your strength. Not a yes that guarantees clarity, applause, or control. Just a simple, honest, trembling yes. Yes, even if I'm unsure. Yes, even if I've failed before. Yes, even if I can't see how it will all unfold. Yes, because God, I trust you more than I trust me. This is the invitation of the final day. Not to impress God, not to earn a breakthrough, but to align with Him, to surrender and trust. One more time, child. The final yes is often the hardest, because it comes after all the waiting, after all the weariness, after all the small obediences that didn't seem to move mountains, after the prayers that haven't been answered yet. But it's also the most powerful, because it carries the weight of every previous yes within it. It tells heaven you're still here, still standing, still willing. And listen closely. God isn't asking for perfection. He's not waiting for your performance. He's not interested in how eloquently you say it, or how emotionally moved you feel when you do. He's looking for a heart open and available, because one final yes can open a floodgate. One surrendered moment can change an entire month. One whispered God, I'm in can activate things that have been waiting to move. This is not the end of your story. This is not the final scene. This is the activation. The release. The moment where heaven takes your yes and begins to multiply it. Can you feel it? There's a holy hush in the air today. A spiritual trembling just beneath the surface. It's not anxiety, it's anticipation. Something is leaning in. Something is waiting to be unlocked. And child, you are holding the key. Your obedience, your surrender. Your yes, it's not just about you. It is generational. It is prophetic. It is weighty in the spirit. Because what you say yes to today may be the very thing your future self will thank you for tomorrow. You may not know what it will require, but God knows what it will release, and He wouldn't be asking if He hadn't already equipped you. He wouldn't be calling you forward if there wasn't something waiting on the other side of your trust. You see, the blessing. It's already carved with your name on it. But sometimes the release of the blessing is waiting on the agreement of the heart. Not a forced agreement. Not a fearful one. A free, love-rooted, I trust you kind of agreement. So even if your voice shakes, say it. Even if it costs you something, say it. Even if part of you is afraid, say it. Because your courage isn't measured by how loud your yes is, but by how true it is. This moment, this day, it's not a coincidence. It's a turning point, a divine invitation. Not to understand everything, but to surrender everything. And here's what happens when you say yes. Heaven moves, chains break, provision aligns, peace deepens, and what looked impossible begins to shift. Because heaven doesn't wait for perfect people, responds to available hearts. So today, July 31st, let this be your sacred echo. God, I don't need to see the whole road. I don't need to feel strong. I don't need the applause. I just want to follow you. I just want to please you. I just want to walk in whatever you've already prepared for me. This isn't a hard end. It's a holy beginning. The door is creaking open, and the Spirit is whispering, will you step forward, child? Will you trust me one more time? Will you say yes, not because you feel ready, but because you know I am? If all you have is a whisper, give it. If all you have is a tear, let it fall. If all you have is a tiny flicker of faith, hold it up. He sees it. He knows. He's with you. Say yes because you were made for this next part. Say yes because what's ahead is greater than what's behind. Say yes because heaven is already leaning in to respond. Let today be your sacred crossing. From hesitation to obedience. From wondering to walking. From silence to surrender. This is your final yes. And it unlocks everything. And now, child, the moment has come. The last breath of July exhales gently behind you. The stillness that held you has done its deep work. The whispered yes you offered has touched heaven. The soil of your surrender has been watered with grace. And tonight, you do not walk out empty. You walk out anointed. You are not just crossing a date on the calendar. You are crossing a threshold in the spirit. This isn't just the end of a month, it's a release into movement, into promise, into divine rhythm. Glory rests on you, not because you've earned it, Not because you've performed perfectly, but because you've been willing. You've been yielded. You've been faithful in the quiet place, and now heaven is not just whispering. Heaven is marching with you. This moment is not loud, but it is weighty. You are not walking forward as someone trying to prove their worth. You are walking forward as someone who knows they've been chosen. The pause has passed. The stillness has shaped you. Now comes the strength that only obedience births. So rise not rushed, but ready. Not desperate, but full. Not begging for favor, but walking in it. Because the glory on your shoulders isn't yours, it's and He placed it there, not just to carry, but to release. Child, August is not empty. It has been waiting for you. And it is your yes that has unlocked it. You may feel unqualified. You may feel unsure. But that's not what God sees. He sees someone who stayed. Someone who whispered, "I trust you," when it didn't make sense. Someone who let go of control to make room for the miraculous. You see, the world applauds the loud and the visible, but heaven celebrates the faithful and the surrendered. And in these final days, your quiet faith has spoken louder than any shout. That's why you don't walk out the same. That's why you don't step into August as someone hoping to be seen. You step into it as someone who is already known, already marked, already carried. The oil of July's pressing has become the anointing of August's power. You didn't waste these days. You didn't wait in vain. The doors are opening, the way is being made. And every delay has been transformed into divine alignment. Heaven is not behind you, child. It is beside you, matching your step. The cloud is moving. The fire is guiding. The presence is going before you and surrounding you. And because of that, you can say this not as hope, but as truth. I am not forgotten. I am not behind. I am not denied. I am standing on holy ground. I am walking into promise. Let those words settle into your bones. Let them become your rhythm. Let them be your armor. Because the enemy will try to whisper lies about your timing, your worth, your readiness. But the glory of God silences every voice that dares question what He has anointed. You're not walking out of July with empty hands. You're walking out with oil on your skin, fire in your spirit, and purpose in your stride. So don't second yourself now. Don't look back. Don't minimize what's been forged in the quiet place. You carry glory. Walk like it, speak like it, pray like it, believe like it. And when you step into August, remember, you're not entering alone. You're not scrambling for answers. You're not wandering in uncertainty. You are moving in divine rhythm with heaven surrounding you, with angels assigned to you, and with promise echoing beneath every step you take. This is not hype. This is holy. This is not emotion. This is your inheritance. So lift your head, square your shoulders, align your spirit, and say it again, not because you need to convince yourself, but because this is your truth now. I am not forgotten. I am not behind. I am not denied. I am standing on holy ground. I am walking into promise. Say it again, this time with your heart wide open. I am walking into what God has already prepared for me. You've said yes. You've waited well. You've remained faithful. Now step forward with glory on your shoulders. Because the shift has begun. And child, you are ready.